I say howdy.
Say yo.
Welcome to Big Book Bros. Tis episode 18, and it's going to be a good one today. We're going to be talking about the comic book issue Die by company Image. I believe
Yep.
Image. Yeah. So this is what we all going to be talking about for today. It's going to be a quick video, but you want me to come just get a quick breakdown for it?
Let me go over the writer real
Yeah,
quick.
of course.
The writer is Kieron Gillen. The artist is Stephanie Hands, and the letterer is Clayton Cowles. And Kieran and Stephanie Gillian and Hands have worked together on another book called The Wicked and the Divine that came out. And it's been a while. I think it might have came out like 2000 and maybe 19. I heard a lot of good things about it. So they worked together before. If I'm not mistaken, both of them are from Europe as well.
Oh yeah, because I'll talk about that too. Yeah, because especially a lot of the settings they
Yeah,
have.
France and Britain. Yep, London. So all three of the people have played D&D. So but we'll talk more about that.
Yeah, you good. So yeah, so that was a quick synopsis of like the writers, the creators, but the basic premise is going to start with six friends back in the 80s. They all, like you said, they're playing D&D, also known as Dungeons and Dragons, but it's a particular twist to it. So if you've seen our previous video, episode 17, we kind of gave a little hint, a synopsis about it, but long story short, six teenagers. They're in the 80s. They're playing D&D. It's like the hype. Like that is the best game. Well, one of the friends, he decides to make his own version of it, and it's definitely a gritty version. And you kind of fall into a mystery of like what happened to the crew because they vanished. Uh, and you kind of see what leads the lives of all the friends, the loved ones, and what they all did while they're playing the game, and then when they come back. So it's kind of like it's a dark version of Lily Jumanji, because like they get sucked into the game that one of the friends had made,
and I think it has to do with the die.
Yeah, the special die. Yeah, so
because they have a special box set that they get.
Each character.
Each character gets a different die. There's like D20, D6, D12, D8, D4. And some other ones.
Yep. So yeah, we had the title of the book is called Die, but it doesn't mean the people being dead and killed. It means the dice. Single die. So that's just like I said with Dungeons and Dragons and a lot of tabletop games, there's different versions of the dice, aka die. But the main friend Solomon. Solomon, Chuck, Angela, Dominic, Matt, and then Isabel or Elizabeth, Isabel, yeah, Isabel. But again, the whole group, Solomon, the main, aka the main character, he makes the game, and you kind of like you're like, oh, okay, that's cool, it's nice, but it's a dark version of Jumanji. So Jumanji, when you get stuck into the game, you gotta finish the game, beat the campaign, and then you win. Well, the group, without getting too much spoilers, they beat the game, but one of the characters don't make it back, and then it goes into later on to the future. Everybody's all grown up, and now there's like a special message, a special die comes back into their lives.
And the whole dice set comes back into their lives, and they didn't want it.
They didn't want it because it
sucked back in.
And the reason why they didn't want it, when I mean it's dark and gritty, it is like for future reference, because I always give like the age recommendation. Who would I recommend? This is definitely for teenagers, young adults. I don't see the definitely like you're gonna have your profanity, your blood, and like definitely your dark themes. Not semi horror, definitely semi horror. So a lot of people, there was some stuff where it makes you kind of squeamish, but there it's not your typical it's an easy because that's how they felt. They're like, oh, it's gonna be an easy fantasy game. A lot of people are like, oh, we're in the game, we're gonna have the time of life, but then it has the real world conflict. There's a war going on. As much time they spend in the game, it's also in real world time too. So it's not going to be, where we spent years in the board game, and then when we come back out, it's going to be like 15 minutes. Like, no, the whole team, the group of friends, they were gone for 2 years the first time they played it. So there's a couple more issues. So I read the first, me and Dame, you read the first 5 issues, but like I said, it tells you where the first 2 years you kind of fill in the blanks as the narrator, especially one of the main characters when they talk about the story, what had happened and what led to like certain events to the villages, what happened to certain characters and NPCs where like, oh, it's an NPC, they ain't gonna do much, but then they have real world consequence where they're like, okay, we left them, they were gone for 2 years in the game. But then when they left, they spent 40 years with the real world. So them 40 years also happens in the video, the little well, not video game, but the board game. So it kind of is like, oh crap, like you're like, we'll be back, and then like they really ain't been back. So it gets a little dark. But even what Daniel said earlier, the settings in the place they call like the Prussia, England land. So it's definitely Europe based. Some of the stuff that they use, especially like some of the dialogue, you can hear it's like Eastern European, modern day. It's not too uptight because some of them do have slang, of course, profanity and cursing, but it definitely shows you a perspective of how everybody's going to deal with it. So each of the group of the characters, it kind of has your basic twist of a Dungeons& Dragons campaign characters.
Yeah, because they do have dragons. They do
Yeah.
have dragons. They have elves.
The
they have
dwarves.
like gnomes or hobbits or whatever
Yep.
you want to call them. They have shorter people.
And then it kind of is more definitely more steampunkish because that's another funny joke. The first chapter you'll see the main one, everybody's the main character, but there's a brother and sister, Dominic and Angela, and his Dominic's the brother, and then his little sister Angela, but she loves steampunk. That's like a hype craze, in the 80s, the 90s, the tech. So she loves doing that. But when you get into the world of the land, England, the Englander, it's kind of like, oh, it's nice steampunk, but like the dragon's like spewing, toxic coal and metal, and you're like, oh crap, it's like, it's not really nice, but it definitely has. You're gonna have your death. Not really much of a love story. The first 5 issues, there's the steam dragon. They really kind of shows how each individual character from the personality it gets bad.
But there's a dragon right there.
Yeah.
But too, when they come back, they're young. They do their whole lives, or
Yep.
most of their I would say their young 30s, 40s, and then they go back. And when they go back, there's issues because they have lives that they created back on Earth, children, spouses, and then they get jumped back into the
England land, the fantasy land.
Yeah, so that's where they're having a lot of issues. Some want to come back, some don't, some want to stay. It's just, yeah.
And it's funny because literally almost everybody's life. So out of all 6 of the characters, almost everybody. So like you said, they have family. It's like everybody is miserable. Yeah. So like some people, they have families. You'll hear about the backstory. Like people have divorced. People have kids that are sick. There's some. There's a guy named Chuck. He's like your basic cocky, the bully, the kid with the attitude. But you kind of hear how he uses his experience in the fantasy land and how he tried to be a successful businessman. And you're like, all right, cool, that's whatever. But you're kind of like, man, he's not happy. You got a guy named Matt.
He lives for the rush.
Yeah.
Chuck lives for the rush. He loves
the adventure and just keep going
the
out.
Adrenaline rush. There we go.
Oh yeah,
he's an adrenaline junkie.
Matt, he's like the calm, calculated character. He's real cool, but he definitely has one of the saddest background. But especially with him, it's hard for him to express his emotion. But that's a key thing when he becomes his character. That's Isabel. Yeah, Isabel's character. So Isabel, with her, she's also kind of brash. She kind of gets out in people's face, but same thing with her. She has her own personal conflict. She doesn't feel happy, and then she has her past of not wanting to express herself. She wants to hide. There's Angela. Angela, she's the younger sister, the main character, Dominic. Angela, she's more optimistic at first. She was more optimistic. She wants to engage with the bigger group. No, that's Matt. Angela, yeah, I'm just gonna go down by them. She likes the steampunk. So
that's not. I like there's another one you hear of her that's better.
But well, her
We shall
Angela,
match.
she definitely has more stuff that as she got older, she has a family and everything goes bad.
He's also on the thumbnail, Matt.
Yeah, Matt. Yeah, I like him because he looks sad, and that's a key thing that when you read, I won't explain everybody's powers and their classes, but when he's sad, it kind of hits you. He can be
Is that
one.
Chuck?
That's Chuck. Um, Chuck was the guy that lives for the thrill. He like a hipster. Straight up. He fits the hipster vibe. He wants to do everything his way. Solomon. Nah, we can't spoil that one.
Yeah.
Can't show that one. So that we're gonna show you little pictures of each
Oh, there's
character,
a good version of him.
the whole group. Well, there's a cover picture of her, Dominique that we can find. But Angela, she had her past growing up with her older brother. She wants to fit in, and then some traumatic happened to her. She's going through divorce. She's like struggling, figuring stuff out. Yeah, and then
That's Dominique.
yeah.
Well, no, because in this world she's a female, but in
With
real
Ash.
life, his name is
Guy.
Ash.
No, Ash is the nickname. Yeah. So
Well, it's a guy in the human world,
But his-
and then when he goes to this world, he becomes a woman.
yeah, but his real name is Dominic.
Oh,
not Ash.
okay. So Dominic
Yeah.
is the human, the
Yeah.
male from
And
the
then
Earth,
Ash.
and Ash is the female from
personality.
the thing.
Yeah, we're discussing. It's confusing. Yeah, it'll tell you the first couple of chapters, kind of throws you off. Matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken,
It is the first couple pages where they say
let me see
the
it.
names.
No. Yeah, I got you. We about to. Yep, Dominic is the real name. Yeah. So Dominic, yeah. So it's a guy. That's Angela's older brother, but he's the party
This is the one
leader.
I like. See, I like her with her mask thing. I don't know. The other one, she didn't have it on, so she was different.
Yeah, Angela. Yeah, so she's a cyberpunk. She loves her stuff. But Dominic, yeah, he's the party leader. He's the main character that you're gonna hear the narration from and see what he's been going through his head. And then when he becomes his alternate character, the female Ash, it's pretty interesting because you don't think too much of it because you're like, it's cool artwork, nothing too much. But definitely art style, what I would rate it, it's definitely like oil painting. I definitely like it's not too messy and gritty, but straight up, oh yeah, I want to show that, but we can't. It's some nasty stuff in there. There's your blood and guts and everything. But art style, I straight to get like an 8 out of 10. It's something that really kind of catch your eye. It's nothing too dilute. But the oil, it's good. It's oil. And then there's one more. So if you kind of listen, what we're saying, there was five. I said about 5 characters. Their background. There's one more. The guy that made the game, Solomon. So if you kind of listen and figure out, he basically something happens with him, and he stays behind in the game for all the decades. He didn't come back when everybody was gone for 2 years. He stayed for basically 40 plus years, and you're going to kind of figure out what's going on with him, what happened with the land that they was in, because he
And I think
basically
it's
made the
20
game.
years, Michael. I don't think it's 40.
It's not,
I don't think so.
because
I
it
think
started
it's
in the
20.
80s. Okay.
Because the reason why I say that, they're teenagers. That means they're like 56 years old. I don't think so.
Yeah, so about
they were
20. So okay, so about 20. You gotta give it. Yeah, it's kind of a little kind of iffy because it goes back and forth. Yeah, that it definitely shows you when they're younger. Then it. There we go. 25 years.
Yep. There it is.
We figured it out. 25 years. So I apologize for the video earlier. So instead of 40, it's 25 years. But it shows you in the past, then it's the present, and then it also kind of deals a little bit more in the past. And then, like I said, everybody, when they come back, the whole group, they're adults, yeah, in their 40s, playing as they're basically the OCs back in the Dungeons and Dragons land. But another main character, of course, Solomon, you kind of see what's going on with him, and then another mysterious character, the Game Master. What's going on with that? Because again, the group were like, we should be done. The group were like, we should be done with the game because they're like, hey, we basically defeat the evil bad, and then we all should be able to go home. But it's like oh crap, there's more to it. So that's definitely a nice little twist to it. Definitely more gritty. Um, it's all in all, I like it. Definitely something that will pique a lot of people's interest who love the Dungeon Dragon, the
Yeah, 'cause
fantasy vibe.
we're actually playing D&D now, so
Yup. So we're in the D, so that really kind of caught my eye. I was like, oh shoot, I definitely want to see it. But then that's what I said, when you see a lot of the comic books or video games and movies, when you jump into the fantasy world, everything goes right for you. You're like, "Ah, I got this going. I have my whole team. There's gonna be a little bit of drama, conflict. We should be good." Well, with this version, yeah, you still got your drama, conflict, but again, when you leave the world, it's still going on. It's not just oh, everything will be nice and dandy. You're like, oh, there's repercussions. So, and then, yeah. So I won't get too much of spoilers, but yeah, it definitely deals the whole six groups of friends when they come back. Well, not everybody, but you'll see what happens to them, and then they got to go back into the game. So, all in all, beautiful. Definitely we'll give another. We'll make another episode. We'll get a catch up on the next 5 volumes because it's in paperback. So just what 15 volumes?
no, there's 4 volumes.
4 volumes. So there's 4 volumes. So a couple more chapters that we catch up on.
And I think there's only like 20 issues, I believe.
20
I'm not
issues.
sure.
So yeah, we'll make another one. Another one if we have other books or media that we talk about. I'll give a catch up for anybody that wants to get interested in art. But all in all, definitely recommend for the young adults and teenagers. If you want to get into like the mindset of that deep fantasy world and like, oh, it's really that dark gritty one. It's not too over top, but you're like, oh snap, all right. But pretty much that's it. I don't have too much with it. I'm gonna continue more when we get to our next episode for it.
Yeah, I mean, the art to me was definitely different. I would say it's not like a lot of, how should I say it? Like it's different. It has its own style. Like Michael was saying, it's kind of like painting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not your typical. I would say your typical Marvel superhero art. That's like, let me show some.
Yeah, them talking at the bar.
Well, no, I was gonna say you've seen a lot of the art, but I'm not sure who drew. Going the wrong way. Who drew a lot of the
issues,
covers of
yeah.
the art, the issues? So at least one more. So I was looking for something. I showed the dragon one. That one was really nice. I really like that one.
I don't know.
Kind of like this one.
It's beast.
So it's different. I mean, I like it. It's its own style, definitely. Um, but yeah. So I'm definitely looking forward to reading the volume 2. I'm definitely looking forward because this one, it has to build the world. So, the first issue was just, building up what's going on, the situation at hand, them getting together and wanting to do the D&D for someone's birthday.
It was Solomon Dominic. So the two best, Solomon, the creator of the fantasy world, and then Dominic, he's the main character of the group. They both share the same birthday, so they've been childhood friends. So it's like, hey, here's the big surprise. But then you're like, oh, this is cool. And then, like we said earlier, the magical die box, and then you're kind of like, this don't look safe. And then, yeah, everything
They
kind of
disappear in the first issue, and they come back 2 years later, and then it skips again to show them as 25 years later as they're adults, blah blah blah, and the lives that they have, and how they get back with the new box set of die, and then that's when they
jump back.
And I think that's like issue 2 or at the middle of 2 or something like that. So we didn't spend so much time in the world, So my point is, I'm looking to read volume 2 because that is going to be all of them in this new world, and we're going to learn more about the world.
Yep. So, but all in all, really good recommendation. I will say for the next episode, if we don't continue with the other part of the volume, we'll definitely have more surprise because we're going to start back up, especially with me. A lot of people know I'm a huge Transformers fan, so we're going to try to start up some more IDW Transformers.
Yes.
So I got still a lot of my omnibus and paperback, so you know I'm gonna be on it, especially at the time of this recording in 2023. Transformers are going crazy right now. We're gonna have new
Yes.
movies, new Lee Studios, Action Figures releasing, new TV shows releasing. It's just gonna go crazy. Even like Netflix, they got another new series coming out. So it's 2023 is gonna be an excellent year.
And IDW is one of the, if not the best Transformer run
Yes.
ever.
Yes.
And it is crazy long. They have 3 phases. I have the first phase, the second phase, and then part of the third phase. So it's actually going to be, we're probably going to take breaks in between.
Oh yeah,
because of how long it is. I mean, total, it's probably like, I think the first phase is like, I think it's like 8 hardcovers. The second phase is 8 hardcovers. And then the third phase, I think I have 5 hardcovers. And, each hardcover has like, I want to say like maybe 18 issues or something like that. So that's like 3 of these.
Yeah.
So, and like I said, this one right here, I timed myself and it took me about an hour.
Yeah.
So 3 hours to read one hardcover. And there's 20 of them.
20.
I believe. It might be a little more, but it's around there. So I would probably, depending on how much we love the story too. Because I mean, like this one right here, now I'm ready to read the second one, and I look forward to it. So and we're gonna finish it as well because it's only 4 trade paperbacks. So here in a month, we may have it finished. We may have it finished sooner, but I definitely want to read the Transformers because see right there I have that's actually phase 1. That's the first hardcover from phase 1 I have right there.
I got it
first.
I have a couple.
No, it's the second phase.
I have a couple.
No, sorry, that's the third phase. I'm tripping.
Yeah,
that's the third phase.
We as we're talking, we have like our studio. We have like books everywhere. So yeah, we're I know, right? We're sidetracking on it, but definitely gonna be something good. But yeah, reading time for the whole first paperback of Die. Yeah, I give about an hour because that's what about took me as well. Probably like 45, 50 minutes, but a lot of words and dialogue for sure. But it's pretty. That's what I said. It's the buildup. The first paperback's gonna get all the buildup.
And I feel like a lot of these comic books, I feel like they do that on purpose.
Yeah,
like they try to keep the word count at a certain word count because usually, like I said, the first volumes usually have the most words.
Yeah.
Or the first issue, sorry, in the trade paperback, issue 1, they usually have the first. Most amount of words just because they have to cram and build it and hurry up and build it so that when issue 2 comes out they can start rolling the story around.
Yeah.
So I think that too has to do with it. And like my point is like too, I feel like they have like a certain word count that they want to like a quota. Like the person that's over them is like, okay, we want at least 150 words. In the first anywhere between like 120 to like 160 words in the first issue.
Yeah.
That's how I feel because this is the second one that we read here recently that we started timing, and both of them was about an hour. The first, I think the Venom was like an hour and like 12 for me or something like that, and this one was around the same. So I'm kind of curious. I'm something I'm gonna start doing just to see. Of course, it depends on how you read, but I don't rush. I'm not like because then I try to read it, absorb it, and then just look at the art, and then next.
That's what I had to do because like the first couple pages, like when I was reading it, like I said, like me and him, we had our discussion. The 2 main characters, like Dominic, he also goes by the name Ash, and then that's how I was kind of real. I was like, did I miss a character? Like, cause me and him were like, no, it's this person. I'm like, no, it's this person. I was like, no, it's this person. Like, this is his person's name.
Because his character is a female in the D&D world.
Yeah, so that's why he goes by Ash. But then real world is Dominic before everything goes. So it's weird. But all in all,
I thought it was a dude. You know how like some elves look like females? So I was thinking he was an elf in this other world, and then it was like, no, his character has boobs. It is a female.
But yeah, but all in all, great read. So we'll definitely keep y'all up to date. And then yeah, next episode we're gonna get a little bit more into Transformers. But if y'all got any more recommendations, feel free to hit me up. BigBookBros. I'm here on of course I'll read my YouTube comments. I'm also on Instagram and also on Twitter. Same thing, BigBookBros. But other than that, We'll see y'all next episode.